If you want to keep sweating through your outfits all summer, then ignore these tips. But if you're tired of feeling hot and uncomfortable, stick around, because I've got 21 simple swaps that's going to make your warm weather style way more effortless. If you implement a few of these small tweaks that I'm going to lay out in this video, it's going to make a huge difference to your spring and summer style. Number one, I'm going to swap my heavy OCBDs with camp collar, short sleeve shirts, and polos. Oxford cloth tends to be a bit heavier, a little bit less breathable, and it can be really uncomfortable in the hot weather. Now, I think Oxford cloth button downs are a great shirt for a casual look in the fall and winter months, but if you have a heavier cloth, then sometimes it's just going to feel hot and sticky in the hot weather. Camp collars and polo shirts can keep things cool, and the open neckline just feels a little bit more relaxed. Trade in your bulky wallet for a slim card holder. So if you haven't done this already, I strongly suggest you do. It's so much more comfortable carrying around a slim card holder, especially in lighter weight clothes. When you're sitting down or walking around, you're not going to feel it as much. And really, what are you still carrying in that bulky wallet? Do you really need that gas receipt from 4 months ago? Probably not. So again, if you haven't already, make the swap. You'll thank me later. I'm replacing my navy, gray, and black clothes with softer, spring-friendly neutrals. So basically, I'm swapping in different base colors like rust, sage, and stone. This is going to take the place of what I typically wear, which is charcoal gray, navy, or black. These lighter colors will reflect more light when you're out in the sun. It's going to keep you a lot cooler, and you'll just feel more relaxed. Not to mention they are much more seasonally appropriate, and it's going to match with a lot of stuff that you already have anyway. I'm not saying that you can't wear navy, charcoal gray, and black in the summertime, but it does, like I said, tend to make you feel a little bit warmer, so I would pare back a little bit and bring in these lighter neutral colors to wear during these warmer months. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Baron, and for the past 16 years, I've been helping guys look their best without overthinking it. My whole goal is to make looking good feel effortless. Even when life is busy with family, with work, with kids, you got a lot of responsibilities, and the last thing you want to think about is what you're wearing every day. So I'm glad you're here, and hopefully this helps. Next, I'm swapping out my heavy denim for lightweight chinos or drawstring trousers. Most denim is pretty thick, and in the summer, that can feel really suffocating. A cotton or linen drawstring trouser, especially one with an elastic waistband, is going to keep you much more comfortable throughout the day. It's going to help you move better, and it'll just keep you more relaxed. Find one with a straight fit or a slightly tapered fit can work as well. I think the key here to making sure that you don't look sloppy is to make sure that the hem ends right at the shoe. You want little to no break. Next, I'm transitioning all of my wool socks out, and I'm bringing in all my cotton crew socks and my no-show socks. Thick wool socks are perfect in the colder weather months with your boots, but in the summer, that can spell death. Super hot. No-shows are great when you want the sockless look, but you don't actually want to go sockless. And a breathable cotton crew sock with a sneaker and shorts, it gives off a very vintage 80s, 90s vibe right now, which I think actually looks pretty cool. Your mileage may vary on that, and you may not like that look, so you don't have to go that way if you don't want to, but it's definitely something to try out. In general, cotton crew socks are a smart way to go if you want to stay cooler in the spring and summer months. Next, I'm going to embrace the half tuck or the French tuck for my shirts. I use this little trick all the time, especially when I don't want to fully tuck in my shirt or my shirt's hem is a little too short and it doesn't stay tucked in. Using a French tuck with your shirt, it adds a little bit of shape. It feels a little bit more intentional with your outfit, and it works perfectly with the lighter spring layers. Give it a try and let me know what you think. Next, I'm swapping out my thick leather belts for something lighter and more interesting. Basically, stiff and thick leather belts aren't really the vibe with lighter weight pants. You can go with a more unique belt like one of these. I'm thinking braided leather belts, much more lightweight, a nylon webbed belt, a ribbon or a fabric belt. These feel a little bit more relaxed, they flex with your waistline, and they can add a subtle pop of a visual interest or a color to your otherwise pretty neutral outfit. Are you finding these tips helpful so far? If so, I'd love if you subscribe to the channel. And if you have any style topics that you'd like me to cover in a future video, make sure to leave it in the comments or send me a DM. Next, I'm rotating my fragrances to ones that are more citrusy, light, or aquatic. Think of it this way, you're not gonna wear a heavy flannel shirt in the middle of July, right? So why would you wear a heavy, spicy, musky sort of scent when it's bright and sunny and warm outside? A fresh scent feels lighter and more seasonally appropriate, and it just makes more sense in the warmer weather. These are some of the fragrances that I've been using the past few years, but if you go into any fragrance store and hopefully find a knowledgeable sales associate, they can help point you in the right direction as far as what makes sense for the warmer weather months. Next, I'm gonna go sockless, but I'm gonna make sure that my shoes can actually handle it. So your mileage may vary on this tip, but if you aren't one to sweat a lot or sweat profusely, then you can definitely utilize this. You don't always have to wear socks or no-show socks even. You can just go sockless in your leather shoes. So any leather-lined loafers or sneakers, espadrilles, or boat shoes. These are meant and built to withstand the sweat and the moisture that can build up throughout the day. One big tip if you are going to go sockless is to make sure that at the end of the day you put shoe trees in your leather shoes. That's going to help absorb any of the moisture that's left over from a long day of walking around, and it's going to help maintain the shape and the integrity of the leather shoe. Next, I'm going to refresh my eyewear selection. If you've been wearing the same pair for years, maybe it's time to try something new. For the warmer months, it's always fun to try stuff that's a little bit more vibrant, something with patterns, something that's a little bit more exciting and colorful. Think tortoiseshell, matte neutrals, or colored translucent frames. A quick swap to one of these can change your whole look and vibe, so it's definitely worth considering. Next, I'm swapping in some lightweight outerwear. When you might need an extra layer, but you don't want to overheat, going with a lightweight jacket is the move. You could do something like a Harrington, a chore coat, or a cotton bomber. These can add a little bit of visual interest to your outfit without all the excess bulk and without making you overheat. Also, it's smart to take a lightweight jacket with you, especially if the mornings or evenings are cooler, or if you're going from outdoors to indoors a lot and the AC is blasting indoors. Next, if you haven't already, you might want to try some relaxed fit trousers, even with pleats, and step away from the slimmer cuts. We are in this new era of baggy pants, and I think that's awesome. I wore very baggy pants when I was younger, like in grade school, high school. Now, I'm not saying to go full on Jinko jeans, and if you are a fellow millennial like me, you know what I'm talking about, but you can definitely loosen up to a straight cut or a relaxed cut pair of jeans. Slim cuts in general are really clingy and they can be really uncomfortable in hot weather, while a straight or relaxed fit pair of jeans can give you a little bit more room without looking sloppy. And this applies to not only jeans, but chinos and trousers as well. The best way to find out what exactly is a straight or relaxed cut for your specific body type is to try on many different models from one brand that you like. So if you are shopping with Levi's, for example, they have several fits from skinny all the way to baggy. You can try the ones that are in the middle, and then on your body, you can see what looks more like a straight leg versus a slim versus something that's a bit more relaxed. And I would go from there depending on how wide or slim you want to go. I suggest starting with a 501 usually is a good place to start because it's like their middle ground, and then you can dial it up or down from there. Swap your leather watch strap for a NATO or a rubber watch strap. Just like I mentioned with belts, heavy leather watch straps can feel sort of out of place in the summer months. A nylon NATO or rubber strap really lightens things up. It feels better on the wrist, it looks a little bit more seasonal, and it allows you to play a little bit with colors to match your outfit. Just like your belts, it's another way to add some visual interest and a pop of color to your look. Plus, it kind of breathes a little bit of extra and new life into a watch that you wear every day. It's kind of fun. Next, I'm loosening up my tailoring. So if you have to dress it up a bit and you have options, consider a unstructured and unlined sport coat. Unlined and unstructured jackets are a lot more breathable, they're a lot more lightweight, yet they still look really sharp. They definitely look less business and more laid back. So if you are going to an event that's giving you a little bit of leeway with the dress code, you have to dress it up, but you don't have to go full on tuxedo or anything, full on business suit. Consider a unstructured or unlined jacket or just one of these summer weight suits. Real quick, before this next swap, if you found any of these useful so far, do you mind hitting that like button? Thanks so much. Let's move on to the next one. I'm swapping my black and navy pants for olive and British tan colored pants. Now, I did mention earlier that I'm swapping out a lot of my grays and navies and black clothing for lighter neutral colors. This specifically is talking about pants. I think we tend to go darker with our bottoms and lighter with our tops. And so if you do gravitate towards navy or black for your pants, I think the British tan and the olive colors are a perfect substitute, especially in the warmer weather months. Give it a try. They're just as easy to wear. They go with the same exact things that you would normally be wearing up top, and it's just going to feel a lot more lighter and seasonally appropriate. Next, I'm upgrading my t-shirts. The t-shirt is the simplest piece in your wardrobe, so you should definitely make it count. I specifically look for tees nowadays that have a better fabric, a better fit, and specifically a better neckline. I don't like when my necklines are really flimsy and sometimes they do that wavy thing after you wash them and or they get really stretched out. So investing a little bit more money into a nicer t-shirt, I think makes all the difference. I also tend to prefer a cotton t-shirt that is a little bit heavier weight because I think it drapes more nicely. But in the spring and summer months, I know that it can get a little bit hot. So if you do overheat, I Prefer a lighter weight slub cotton t-shirt. Those are really nice. The slub cotton adds a bit of texture. It's a little bit more interesting than a flat cotton t-shirt, but really it's all preference. Next, you might want to consider keeping a style go bag in your car or your office. This is mostly a precautionary thing, but I think it's nice to have. In the bag, you're just going to want to keep an extra outfit, an extra shirt, maybe some pants, a light jacket or a sweater, maybe some cologne. You'll definitely thank yourself later when you spill something on yourself or you need to change venues and the outfit that you're wearing right now doesn't make sense. You're gonna have something extra and you're not gonna have to go all the way home to change. Spring weather changes fast, summer weather can change fast, and your summer plans change fast. So having an extra outfit never hurts. Also, if you're like me and you have kids, they're probably wiping stuff on you and they're spilling stuff on you accidentally. So I like having extra clothes with me. It just makes sense. Next, you might want to consider ditching your dark leather sneakers. So you know your heavy black or brown leather sneakers that you wear all fall and winter long? Swap those out, or at least put them in the back of your closet. I prefer sneakers that are made from a canvas or a suede in either a white or a taupe, something neutral, something really easy to wear, something that goes with lighter outfits. Lighter colors match the light spring and summer vibe way better. Next, make sure you're swapping out all of your winter weight fabrics for lighter weaves. Heavier fabrics with tighter weaves tend to hold in heat much better. And you don't want that in the spring and summer months. Lighter weaves and more open weaves like cotton poplin or linen are going to breathe much better and keep you cooler because that breeze is just going to flow right through. So when you're throwing on a button-up shirt, make sure to stick to fabrics that are more breathable and more open weave. Keep your layering light. Sometimes going out with a just t-shirt and jeans, it can be kind of a boring outfit. So you're going to want to layer. But if you go too heavy with your layers, then you're going to get too hot. So if you are going to wear a jacket, make sure to leave the bulky jackets at home and stick to something that's a little bit lighter weight. Same goes with any layer that you're wearing over your shirt, whether that's a suit jacket, a regular casual coat, casual jacket. You want to make sure the fabrics are really light. You want to make sure that it's unlined if possible. That's going to keep you cool throughout the day. Also, we typically layer outwards, right? So we have a shirt and then we put on like a sweater or a jacket in the colder months. But in the warm months, you might want to try layering inward. And what I mean by that is if you have a shirt like this, a button-up shirt, if this is your outermost layer, you can layer inwards. Like for example, wearing a cotton A-shirt, which is like a tank top underneath. And that's going to add a little bit more interest here because you're going to see that peak of white coming through. And there is an additional benefit, of course, which is that the undershirt is going to help absorb any sweat that you will have throughout the day, and it's not going to get onto your main shirt. So consider layering inward if you are going to layer in the spring and summer months. Next, I'm shortening my hems. Long stacked hems look sloppy, especially when you're wearing them with warm weather shoes. A slight crop or a no break on your pants looks way cleaner. And not to mention, it helps show off your shoes a little bit better. Also, I tend to feel less hot when I have a no break pair of pants on because you can feel some airflow down there versus having a stacked hem. Plus, a no break look on a lightweight pair of pants just looks more elevated and classy. So go with that. All right, that's it. 21 simple swaps that's going to make your spring and summer outfits feel much more effortless and much more seasonally appropriate. If you have absolutely no clue what to wear in warmer weather and you're almost starting from scratch or you want to start from scratch, check out this video. And in this video, I'm talking about the 8 things that stylish guys use all the time, but rarely ever talk about or mention. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.